What is going on, everyone? We only got about, 8 people in here right now. How is everyone? Let me make sure. Oh, let's get the microphone going properly. All right, there we go. How is everyone? Oh, let me turn that down. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry about that. Got me a high chair. Hey, how are ya? Wise owl. I'm heading out to Temple, Cambodia. Oh, and half. Love it. Catch it. Well, I enjoy the temple. Marigold, how are you? Brian, Wise Owl, Grace Allen, I'm Swede. I would love the lives too. That's something that I think we're gonna be doing a lot more of. Because I've gotten a lot of response from people that want me to try different hours and stuff like that, where I answer where you should relocate or where help you decide. And I'm getting a lot of requests for more of these emails and comments. So we're doing them. What do we got? 63 people here. Let's take a look. What's up, Briggs? What's new with Honesdale, Pennsylvania? Oh, Honesdale's amazing. I haven't been there in a couple of years. I want to go back. I want to go back real soon. I want to go there in the holidays, or not the holidays, at least the winter. Briggs, thanks for answering my question yesterday. Watching Nevada rural cities videos this morning. Oh, good. That's a good video. Get out of the Army in 8 months. All right. Congratulations, brother, on that ETS. Estimated salary will be 55 to 65,000. Thoughts on Phoenix or Dallas? Okay, so here's a good question to start things off. Phoenix or Dallas at about $65,000, $55,000 a year. Okay, so, well, here's one thing. What are you going to be doing, Brad? I think it's Brad or Brad YX, Wix. Okay, whatever. Again, like I told you guys yesterday, it's a little hot here, so I got the air conditioner going right here. If you hear it, I'm sorry. I listened back and I could barely hear it last night, so. I've been to El Paso. Was stationed there for 18 months. That was a long time ago that I was actually living there. Since then, I've been back twice, maybe. Once in, I want to say like 2006, and the other time was right around 2015. But prior to that, I was there from 92 to early 94. So. What do I think about the villages in Florida? It's weird. I could go on an hour. Went down this big old rabbit hole about the villages one day, and it's pretty weird. They actually have swinger clubs in the villages. Okay, so Brad, here we go. I hope you leave me a comment. But if you're looking at Phoenix or Dallas, let me check some things out here real quick. Give you an idea what you're dealing with. First of all, moving to Dallas, I would definitely look at some of their suburbs over Dallas, the city itself. You've got some great options there. The first one is obviously going to be Frisco or Plano. Those are on the north side of town, and they're pretty decent. Good place to live. South Dallas is the one that a lot of people complain about, but definitely Plano, Garland maybe, and definitely Frisco. Those are legit places. Irving, I go to Irving every couple of years for Vid Summit. I like Irving. It's very quiet, very laid out, a lot of road construction, but it's a good place to look into living in. And that's a little closer to downtown than Plano and Frisco. Now, I've heard good things about Richardson, which is near Plano, so whatever. As far as Arizona goes and moving to the Phoenix area, sorry, I'm away from the screen. So give me a second here, guys. Or what you guys are saying. So obviously you're going to move to Phoenix. There you got a couple options. Glendale is a solid option. Scottsdale's good too, in case that doesn't work out. I also like Mesa and Gilbert. Those all are right around there. You're going to find a little bit better quality of life if you go to the Phoenix metro area versus the Dallas metro area. And also it's going to be a little bit cheaper. Sure, you don't have that no state income tax, but your property taxes aren't as crazy as Texas. So you got to weigh what's going to work for you. All right, let me catch up on some of these comments, but I hope that helps. And congratulations on getting that ETS in a few months or 8 months or whatever. Anchorage, Alaska. How are things there? Ooh, Hunter, Nevada, in Henderson. My friends live in Henderson. We got 87 people in here. All right. I'm planning to moving to the Villages summer of 27. Retired military, 100%. Nice. Decent retirement. Good. You sounds like you got a solid retirement. The Villages are really good. It's a very enclosed community. There's very little crime. Their crime is usually stupid stuff, petty crimes, couple old men getting mad at each other at the community center, stuff like that. You don't have, it's Villages, it's retirement. You're not going to have a bunch of people ODing, and you're not going to have a bunch of homeless people there. They'll chase them out. It is a great encapsulated life in the Villages. Now, you can get that in other retirement communities, but the Villages is huge, and it's still well monitored, and it's encapsulated, as I like to call it. Hi, Briggs has just retired from teaching, living in Texas, but would love to move to Wyoming or Idaho, small town. Okay. Plan to work, supplement my pension. Okay. So if you're out of the two, I would suggest going to Idaho. Wyoming is solid, but if I was going to choose either one of those, it would be Idaho. There's a couple really good options for Idaho. Obviously, Twin Falls is really good. Boise's good. Nampa. If you want to go up a little higher, Moscow is pretty good, and Coeur d'Alene. Not sure where you're thinking about going, but if you're just gonna, kind of work a little bit, your best bet is to be somewhere in the Boise area, so you have better options. And in that case, instead of moving to Boise, I would definitely look at Nampa. Or Eagle. Eagle's really good too. Now, if you want smaller town, which I believe you said you wanted smaller town. Let me get back to that. Retired Texas. Small town. Okay. So there's some great options for small towns in Idaho. First one is McCall. McCall's pretty good. It's kind of out there in the hills. It's right there on what lake was that? Payette Lake. It's right there, not too far from Coeur d'Alene, I believe. North Beach. Yeah. So I would look at McCall, New Meadows. Also, I know someone that actually moved it, near New Meadows. Actually, I was wrong about the Coeur d'Alene. It's nowhere near it. What the hell was I thinking of something else with that one? But McCall's pretty nice. Now, there's also a couple other places that are along the river down there, Minor Lake or whatever, the river that flows through there, Snake River. You've got a whole bunch of small towns all along there that are pretty decent. You got Jerome. You also got where my son is right now is Mountain Home. That's Air Force Base there, but there's a town. And if you're thinking about supplementing your income with a little job, it's good to be close to a base because they hire civilians for a lot of different things, especially if you're retired. So there's that. I have a cheat sheet of like 10 states of small towns that I love that I've researched. And another one that's really small is Glenn's Ferry. Look into Glenn's Ferry. That's pretty good. All right, on to the next one. Wyoming, though, if you go to Wyoming, prepare for a little isolation and prepared for it's a little too quiet sometimes. Okay, let me go down here a little bit more. Currently, they're going to run out of water. What about Austin? What's the best area? Austin is solid. Okay, so For a long time, everyone was living in Austin and it was just this great place. But over the last handful of years, people have been moving out of Austin. A lot of them have been going to Round Rock, which let me move this down a little bit. One. But you've got a couple really good ones like Round Rock. Round Rock's pretty good. Pflugerville is decent. What is the other one everyone's been moving to lately? But if you stay on the north side of Austin, the suburbs up there, most of them are pretty good. And then you're really close to Austin, it's pretty good. Pretty good options. New Braunfels is pretty good too, which is closer to San Antonio, kind of in the middle. Check those out. Now, I saw something that was pretty interesting here. Oh, here it is. Thomas, do you know why YouTube is giving us ads during your live broadcasts? Yes, YouTube is a business. Ads make them money, and they end up making me money in the long run because YouTube pays me to do this stuff. So, yes, that's why they run ads during live broadcasts, because they are a business. Businesses need money or they are no longer a business. Okay, let me make sure I didn't. You're back. 2 live shows in a day. No, one was yesterday. I want to start a Saturday morning show. A morning show type thing where we kind of do this every week. Maybe even, I don't know. One guy suggested I should do it during the weekdays, a couple days a week. What do you think of Biloxi? I love Biloxi. Gulfport's pretty good too. The Mississippi coast is different from the rest of Mississippi. Almost like that northwest corner of Arkansas is different from the rest of the state. But there's nothing wrong with the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. So you're so right about Western PA, best small towns. People, we live in Lewis, Delaware. Okay. Southern California, 48 years now, exploring lots of East Coast. Yeah, there you go. It's good to switch coasts at some point in your life, in my opinion. Hey, Briggs from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm stationed at Rucker. Oh, okay. There I go. About to PCS to Carson. Okay. I was there probably before you were born, but I was in Fort Carson in, I want to say 95. Never been to Rucker. Never even been near Rucker. What's the other one? Fort Sill I've been to. What's the one in Louisiana? Oh, I heard horrible stories about that one. Fort Polk, yeah, that's the one. Oh my God, that was like a horror stories. And being infantry, they have a lot of infantry there. Or they used to. I don't know what they have now, but yeah, everyone would be all, don't go to Polk. Polk sucks. Okay. I was at Dugway. We went to Carson. Yes. Okay, in 85. Wow, you've been there a while. Or that was a while back. Yeah, that's when I went in 85. I'm a gambling YouTuber, and I'm thinking about moving to Vegas for more opportunities. Currently living in Wichita, Kansas. Do you think it's a good idea or better to visit? I would definitely visit first. Definitely visit first. Vegas is an acquired taste. Now, keep in mind, the Strip and downtown Vegas is not the entire metro area. They've got some really nice suburbs. The biggest one that everyone moves to is Henderson. Check out Henderson before you decide to move out there, and then go from there. Yeah, I think the Saturday morning live stream is in our future here. My grandpa was born in the 1930s. Before he passed away, he lived in rural New York near us. Okay, he came once family vacation to the Poconos, Pennsylvania. Poconos, I like the Poconos. They don't have the best reputation. A lot of places don't like to be associated with the Poconos. I've never had a problem there. Granted, I've never lived in the Poconos for any extended amount of time, so I just go for my experience and things I see. I like NASCAR. I'm watching the San Diego race tomorrow. That's kind of neat. They're speaking of military, they're they're running a NASCAR race on a military base tomorrow, Coronado. Could you be more verbose about Lafayette's problems? Nick Johnson had a pretty good summary. Want to compare notes? I'd have to look and see what Nick's thing was. If you're wanting to move to Las Vegas, another suburb to look at is Boulder City. Yeah, true. It's smaller than Henderson, and there's no casinos whatsoever in the city. Okay. There's a race going on right now, too. Oh, sweet. My cup of tea, but I remember NASCAR facility there. Yeah. Yeah, Hoonsdale is in the Poconos, but like I said, I haven't spent any extended amount of time, like years in there, living there for 4 or 5 years. I've gone there to visit, bought some property, and that's about it. What are my thoughts on seniors living in RV parks? Honestly, it's best if you find one that is for seniors. Uh, as I'm getting closer to the senior stage of my life, I'm realizing that you don't mesh with a lot of younger folks, especially if you move to an RV park. They do have some that are for 65 and older, or some are 50 and older. That's probably your best option. I would definitely look at those first before I looked at a normal one. Now, there's a couple reasons for that. Normally, they park those things pretty close to decent healthcare, and in case you do need emergency, the ambulance and the paramedics, they're kind of well versed on what goes on in this RV park. Actually, that's from a fireman. He said that they get the lay of the land for all the retirement communities, so they know where they're going right away, and there's no confusion. I'm trying to find questions around Northern Arizona, and Reno, but I know I need to see it to believe it. Okay, any recommendations for Reno? Few visits before deciding. Yeah, so downtown is different. Check out the suburbs. Go to one of the casinos. What is the one we were at? You can go stay in the hotel. I'm not saying go to the casino, but what is it? Reno. Give me a second. I was just at one 2 years ago. My accountant lives there now, but my wife went to CookieCon, which is a cookie convention for people that decorate cookies. And we stayed at, not too far from the airport. What was the name of that casino? There's a casino we stayed at. What was it called? I don't even remember anymore. It's gotta be like right here. Anyway, so we went to this casino. It's down on the south side of the river. So if you go to downtown, go to the south side, down by the airport, there's some good hotels and casinos to stay at. Go check out that area, because that's where all the rural stuff is. And so you want to go west of the 580 and south of the river. And look in that area first. That's probably your best option to look at some homes, see what it's like. And there are some casinos and big hotels in that area, so you can just stay there. That bugs me. I don't remember what it was. Okay, let's get back to the questions. What do we got? How about suburbs of Portland, Beaverton, or Gresham? Oh, Beaverton's far better than Gresham. Gresham is a shithole. Excuse my language. People, that's like nobody wants to move to Gresham. That's not what you want to do. People like Beaverton. West Lynn is good. Sherwood, Tigard, all great options. Aloha from the North Shore. Aloha. I used to live in Aloha, Oregon, which is spelt like aloha, but they named it that, and the locals, a bunch of hillbillies, didn't know how to pronounce that, so they called it Aloha, and it stuck. Hey, Briggs, big fan of your channel. Thank you very much. I'm currently in St. Augustine, Florida. Lived in Florida 26 years. Thinking about relocating to Savannah, Georgia. Great option. Work truck driver. need a change of pace. I would definitely move to Savannah. It's going to be, well, St. Augustine's pretty expensive, but it's going to be a little bit versus St. Augustine. It's going to be nice. A lot of old buildings, beautiful town, obviously a waterfront area, but it's just a smaller version, I guess you could say. And it's it's a romantic city. And it's one of those cities that it gets in your blood and I feel comfortable here. That's my experience with Savannah. It's a great option. Might be a little cheaper than, let me take a look. Let me take a look before I open my trap. Savannah, Georgia. And the other one is St. Augustine. You say St. Augustine? Okay, so here's your breakdown. Savannah, Georgia has a livability score of 86. St. Augustine has 89. So that's outstanding. Cost of living is a B minus in St. Augustine. In Savannah, the cost of living is an A plus. 1% below for them. And what was the other one? And 16% above the national average for St. Augustine. So I was right. Savannah's a little bit cheaper. As far as housing goes, they both get an A plus. Do any of them have any negatives? Oh, yeah. So Savannah has bad schools. They get an F grade for that. Now, that's not all their schools, but overall, some of their schools. So if you're moving there with kids, make sure you do some checking into the schools. Employment, that's gets a D in Savannah versus Augustine, which employment is a C minus. So not much of a difference. They're very similar, but Savannah's going to be a smaller, more affordable city for you. St. Augustine is the oldest European settled city in the United States. Not Marfa, Texas. It is in New Mexico. It's not Santa Fe. It is the one where, oh my God, oldest city. Santa Fe. No, there's another one. Maybe it is Santa Fe. 16. No, there's. Anyway. Oh my God. Now I just got to look up. Where's that? All the stars been moving to New Mexico. Oh my God. Hate it when I can't remember something like this. Taos, I think, is the oldest city in the United States that's been continually, or I should say, oldest settlement that's been continually inhabited. Now, that's not a European one. It was Native Americans before that. Or native, as part of Mexico at the time, Native Mexicans. Okay, appreciate your videos. Well, thank you very much, Anthony. Colt, you think tech job scene is good out there in the great remote? Yeah, out in Reno, Texas, it's a booming city right now. It's growing, so there's a lot of opportunity out there, and tech is always going to be part of the opportunity, especially with all the data centers. I think they're getting one. I think they're fighting one, but tech is definitely going on in Reno. Fort Wayne and moving to North Carolina. I love Fort Wayne. I want to quiet, no HOAs, slower pace, selling and moving to North Carolina. Okay, so slower pace, cheaper. It's between Hendersonville and Gastonia, about an hour northwest Charleston. 50 single, no kids. Okay, so selling Fort Wayne and moving to North Carolina. I want quiet country, no HOA, slower pace. Let's see what we can find for you. Let me get my magic machine out here. I hope one day they give me the okay that this website is up for everyone to use. I don't think I can tell you what it's called, but it's pretty neat. You log in and you put in your parameters, what you want. It spits out options for you. Okay, here we go. So you are, let's go down to the questions. This is going to take a quick second because I didn't have it up, right? So we want to go North Carolina. Boom, 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 boom. Let me run in all your data there. All right. It suggests that the county around Asheboro, North Carolina, is probably what you're looking for. It fits everything you said by 100%. It's also got low crime. I'm looking at the city right now, not the county. Okay, so Asheboro's decent. They got a little bit of crime, which it's not bad. It's 27% above the national average. Cost of living's low. Commute is good. Health and safety, especially if you're over 50, great. Housing is great. Employment, not the best. They get a D. So that's what it's suggesting for you. Pueblo. Okay. I would think that part of South Africa is better than the USA basic on cost overall. But cost overall is the only thing you're looking at. There's a lot of places out in the world that are way below the national average, or way below the United States. Okay. Goodness, Oregon. Da, 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 da. And good. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up and subscribing. I'm glad you found me too, Julia. Oh, got to mention my granddaughter. Hello, Maisie. Negatives to Des Moines be possible. I don't mind slow pace, boring, retired military, and rent an apartment first, learn the area. That is a solid choice. Forbidden Colossus. As far as Des Moines goes, one of my army buddies is a sheriff out there. Des Moines overall is a great place to live. It's got some crime and the schools aren't the best. Coming from a statistics point of view, those are your only negatives. Everything else, amenities, A. Commute, A+. Cost of living, A+. Housing, A+. Health and safety, A+. Schools, D+. And crime and unemployment are both, unemployment is C-, and crime is an F, but it's really not that bad. It's 81% above the national average. I got to throw this disclaimer in there. Sorry if you've heard it 100 times, but we have cities in this country that are 4, 5, 600% above the national average. So where 81% is not great, don't get me wrong, that's not good, but it's definitely not the bottom of the barrel. 81% is not horrible. It's just bad. I am sorry I keep scratching my nose. The sinuses, it's horrible this time of year for me. That's why I have a scratchy voice. I don't have a Coke problem. Okay. Where are we at? Love Augusta, Georgia. I've been to Augusta, Georgia before, and it's nice. Hey, Briggs, I live in Portland, and I'm trying to find a better job market, but a place with good transportation. Do you have any recommendations? If you want to stay in the Pacific Northwest, there's a couple options for you that would, if you want a little bit smaller of a place, I would go look up in the, let me get my bearings here. Go look south of Tacoma, Centralia, Olympia, Tumwater, places like that. Those might be great options for you. And you're still staying in the Pacific Northwest. Of course, if you move to Washington, you're going to have no state income tax, which is always great. And the job market up there near the Tacoma area is pretty good right now. So the reason I say go to Centralia or Tumwater or something like that, it's going to be a little more affordable than up there in the Seattle metro area. Even though they are kind of in it, they're on the outskirts. Look into those areas. Also, there's Ridgefield there, and the job market, if you want to stay in Oregon, the job market in Eugene is decent, and so is Asheville if you want to go down to the south side. Now, if you want to get out of state, go to Idaho. Idaho, the Boise area, it'll be a great option for you. Currently in Colorado Springs, thinking about moving to Huntsville, Alabama. What do you think, Briggs? Huntsville, Alabama is not like Alabama. Again, we talked about how Mississippi, their Gulf Coast, is pretty nice, and the northwest corner of Arkansas is different from the rest of Arkansas. Same thing with Huntsville. Huntsville is nothing like the rest of Alabama, and almost everything is better in Huntsville than any other place in Alabama. So keep that in mind. All the other cities, all the medium, small, whatever cities you got, Huntsville is going to be the best one. It's got jobs, especially in tech, aerospace, things like that. And it's still relatively affordable and nice. Let me tell you what their costs are, their overall livability score is. Huntsville, Alabama, 82. That is outstanding. Amenities, B. Commute, A+. Cost of living, A+. That is outstanding. Crime, it's got a little. It's 16% above the national average. Nothing. Employment is 22%, or the income per capita is 22% above the national average. The unemployment rate is 31% below the national average. Health and safety, you get an A+, and housing is an A+. Let's see what the typical house goes for. Average home value in Huntsville. I was just looking at this. You think I'd remember, but I do so many videos, it's hard to remember anything these days. The average home value there is about $291,000. That is not bad. If you poke around Zillow a little bit, it looks like a majority of the houses that look decent. I'm not in there checking the wiring or looking at the plumbing. You're probably looking at spending about $305,000 to $350,000 for a decent house move-in. Probably no problems. You can find some that are around $200,000. It's going to need some work. Okay. To moist and tender. Side US. Oh, I got to say my things. Did I miss any super chats yet or anything like that? Don't forget the super chats. And if you want to become a member and support the channel, I'd love it if you did that. There's a girl that I met at Vid Summit. She does live streams for like 2-3 hours every single day. And what she does is she watches court TV. And I looked one day, she got like 1,000 people in her live streams every single day. And she's an ex-lawyer. She just quit, I guess, one time because her YouTube channel was taken off. So she was I think she worked for the district attorney's office in Los Angeles. And she just started making too much money on live streams. So she thought, I don't need to be a lawyer anymore. So she didn't. I mean, it's nice to have that in your back pocket in case this whole content creation thing takes a dive. But yeah. Decatur, Cola is low compared to Huntsville. Yeah. What does Delaware rank overall? Let me see. I always pronounce that wrong. I always see it, and then I always mispronounce it. It's Lewis. Just like, I think it's like L. Hey, who knows? I'm not even getting into it. So their overall livability score is 67. Like you've been on the, if you've seen me talk before, anything above 70 is really good. So you're not too far off of 70. I should say it's an average, a decent place to live. When you get the high 70s and early 80s, it's an excellent place to live. This place is a 67. Cost of living is expensive. Commute's horrible. Their crime is really low. Their employment numbers are great. Housing is C plus, so housing's a little expensive. Health and safety is great, and schools get a B. So cost of living and commute are the only things that are killing you in this part of Delaware. So keep that in mind. See what the home price are. Oh, here it is. The average home value there is just about $600,000, 593. So yeah, keep that in mind. Have you been to Schofield Barracks? No. I landed on an airstrip there. There was some shenanigans going on that we got alerted for, flying over the Pacific, going someplace. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about that. But anyway, it got canceled what we were heading for, and we had to go stop in Hawaii and just to refuel. But we ended up staying there 2 days in an Air Force base barracks. Never went to Schofield though. Made it harder versus 100% YouTube's made it harder for us. It's absolutely, like I've mentioned on this, it's like we're below half of what we used to make on this channel. The other channel's not that bad, but this one's taken a hit, and it's the bigger channels that have taken a hit this year. Five bedrooms, 2.5 brick ranch. Sure. Crystal River, also pretty good area of Florida, coastal living. There's a couple places in Florida I love, the ones that have like those little rivers going through them, the springs, natural springs, and sometimes manatee come floating up there. I'd love to live in something like that, but I'm just not a Florida fan. I don't like that humidity. I think Oregon is among the top 5 states in in the event of apocalypse. Yeah. You're live twice, back-to-back days. Are you an Atlanta fan? I've been to Atlanta quite a few times, never lived in it. Well, outskirts. But the U.S. military has a lot to do with Georgia, so you end up being in Atlanta. I don't think it's bad. It's just, okay, it's Atlanta. I mean, there's been a couple cities I've been to that I'm like, this is an amazing city. Atlanta's not one of them. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, whatever. Eastern Tennessee to the thinking about moving from Eastern Tennessee to the Gulf Coast. Any suggestions? I would look at the Tampa metro area. They've got a lot of great options there. If you want to get a little more like rural, above there is pretty good. Obviously, you got Crystal River, you got Spring Hill. If you go inland, you got the Villages, you got Claremont, you got Lake Buena Vista. That gets into the Disney area. Don't go there. Cedar Key is a nice place. It's very small. I've been there before. But there's also Panama City Beach and Pensacola. Pensacola, in my opinion, after you get out of the Tampa metro area, is probably your best option if you want to live on the Gulf Coast in Florida. It's relatively affordable, and it's nice. It's not, I guess it is kind of, I've just never experienced that much humidity in the Pensacola area compared to other places, Florida. Now, I had family members that lived in Ocala, which is dead center of the country above the Villages and all that, and are dead center in the middle of the state. And it was just humid. I only went there in the summer to visit Ocala, but it was rough. Yeah, right. Let's see what else we got here. Missing any of the... Nope, not yet. Looking forward to embrace my hermit and my own Snow White nature, avoid people, wildlife, and backyard. No major frosts. Where does a nature loving lady go to avoid people? Oh, so you're talking about Oregon. Or Oregon or Wyoming. Wyoming, though, you're going to get some serious frost up there. But if you go to southern Oregon, you could find some places that are out of the way and close to nature, and it doesn't get terribly cold. Obviously, if you want perfect weather, you're going to head down to um, California, but that turns into desert where the good air or the good quality of weather is with no frost. So look at Southern Oregon and see what they have to offer. There's a couple. If you want to be on the coast, there's Brookings. Brookings is nice, and it's kind of out there by itself. It's a small town. You got up the coast from there. You got Gold Beach, which Gold Beach is a small community right on the coast. If you want to go inland a little bit and get in the woods, you've got like I'm trying to think of what city I'm thinking about. Powers, that's too small. That's just a little burg. But if you want a little burg and you want to be away from people, look at Powers, Oregon. You can also do the same thing if you move over to Idaho. Idaho's got some great options for that. Other than that, then you start getting in the south, but the south's kind of weird, and you won't get any frost down there, so that might be right up your alley. And you could pick a state in the south, and you can find that. South Carolina is a hot spot right now, but I don't like their small towns that much, so maybe not. Look at North Carolina. Closer to the coast to avoid that frost. But if you really want to be a hermit, look at Wyoming, Idaho, and Southern Oregon. Celeste, how are you? How's New Mexico? New Mexico's got some crime problems, got some poverty problems, but if you're going there like a remote worker or you're bringing a job with you or you're retired, it's a great option. I wouldn't go there looking for a job, and just make sure you stay out of the bad neighborhoods in Albuquerque. Best parts of Oregon. I've done things like that, like the best small towns to live in Oregon and stuff like that in the past. It's usually when I start a series like that, I'll get about 4 or 5 into it, and I want to keep going with them. But then people are like, I've had it with these. Like those ones, towns you'll regret moving to. Boom. First one was doing great. Second one did great. Third one, medium. Fourth one, medium. Fifth one, nobody watched it. What's the worst place in the world to visit? Jackson, Mississippi, or Siberia. Mid rolls are you're watching a video and an ad shows up in the middle of the video. My personal opinion is that started mid rolls for YouTube channels, increased revenue, and small creators took away large creators that added them themselves. Okay, I'm missing something here. My personal opinion is that when they started doing mid rolls for YouTube channels, it increased the revenue for small creators and took away from large creators that added them themselves. I don't know about that. Well, we really don't know if North Korea is the worst place. We just go off of their, what our government tells us. There have been some people there. It's very much under the thumb of the government, but a lot of people that have visited said it seems nice. It's just very controlled. So yeah, I guess that does make it kind of negative. I gotta stand up. I asked you, Briggs, why do you think YouTube channels are taking a hit this year? Well, why do I think they're taking a hit this year? They did some really weird things with the algorithm. Let me adjust this a little bit. So they did some weird things with the algorithm, and they did some things with the homepage. So when I first started back in 2010, if you're on your computer and you looked at the YouTube screen, it would show you like 6 across long form videos, then 6 underneath that. So you had 12 options, and then they might have something else. Then shorts came along and it was 6, 6, and then shorts. Well, as time progressed, all of a sudden it went down to 5 across, then shorts. Now Currently, if you go to your homepage, it is 3 videos, 1, 2, 3, and then a line of like 10 shorts. So they're pushing shorts and it's killing long form videos. And they don't seem, there's a reason they're doing it. I mean, they do a lot of research to make sure they're not making a bad mistake. They do all the time, but this has been going on for over a year where it's just been 3 videos and then a bunch of shorts and then some playable video games or something like that. So, I used to have 12 opportunities for one of my videos to pop up to someone. And then now all of a sudden it's down to 3. On top of that, since the pandemic, people have just flooded YouTube with content because they're all sitting at home. They thought they could make it rich on YouTube. And, that just put billions and billions of new videos online. And it just made the pond bigger. Albuquerque's not a bad place. Just make sure you check your neighborhoods. Briggs, would you choose Kansas over Tacos? I don't know what that is. What am I missing? Worst place? Reduso is pretty good. So what they've learned over the last couple of years is you can't build a community doing shorts. Okay. People watch shorts all the time. I couldn't tell you who made them. It's just a video. When you make a long form video, you guys know who made that video. And most of the time, even if it's just something you watch 30 seconds of, you might have an idea who made it. When was the last time you look at a short video and knew who made it? It's like it doesn't build a community. Where's a good place to retire? RN Talk Shop? There's so many good places to retire. I think right now the best option is going to be Arizona or South Carolina. And they are busting up the AI channels. So I've started to notice, and that's going to take a while for that to really, because they killed a bunch of these AI channels. Well, a lot of their content is still up and getting views. So as they don't upload, which some of them right now I look occasionally that were jumped into my niche. And in the beginning, a lot of them were just copy and pasting my videos. They'd run my voice through AI. Then I'd bring it up to them and, put a copyright thing on them and they'd stop doing, they'd make their own videos. So a lot of them made it in the same genre. Well, they got demonetized because they're nothing but AI slop. So, but it's going to take months, maybe a year for their content to quit being shown because YouTube kind of loses interest in you if you're not uploading on a regular basis. So as time goes on, I'm hoping we start picking up some of those old views we may have lost to those AI channels. So, well, considering Maryland is considered a southern city, yeah, it can be. I mean, it's right across from Virginia, and Virginia is definitely a southern city. My personal opinion, I think once you get to, West Virginia is a southern city, and that's just because they fought with, the southern people and I don't know. I think Mason-Dixon line on down is the South. Yeah, that's about the truth. The best place to retire is wherever the grandkids are. Oh, I gotta check my camera. My wife today's all, I'm not making dinner. You guys are on your own, right? Which she does occasionally. That's fine. I make dinner sometimes, but she's all, you guys are on your own tonight. I got too much stuff to do tonight. We're all okay. My son's all, I'm going to go find someone to make me dinner. About 20 minutes later, he's leaving. My wife's all, you find someone to make you dinner? He's all, yeah. And he left. Hi, Celeste. Hey Briggs, why is Florida getting hotter every year? What's going on with Florida? So the it's a global warming thing. Now, I know a lot of people global warming is no, it's natural. I mean, we had the ice age and ice ages are global cooling and then eventually they start warming, they get to a hot point. So, as time goes on, yeah, the globe gets a little hotter. We're just supposedly at the peak. And so it's going to keep getting hotter. And I know a lot of people want to jump on, oh, it's a big hoax. No, the only thing that is up for debate, and I kind of like, okay, maybe, maybe not. I research this stuff and I read both sides and I'm kind of on the fence now. But global warming is just a natural thing that's happened on the earth many times. Okay. The only difference is that's up for debate is are humans affecting it this time around? And is there this line we're going to cross where it doesn't recover and do the next cycle because of the different things we're putting in the air? That's the only thing that's up for debate, and I'm on the fence with it. But the other stuff, it's just science. I mean, it's happened. We have proof that there's been ice ages, and then we've had extreme heat. They found seashells in Kansas and stuff like that, because at one point the water came so far inland, there were sea creatures, what do you call it, prehistoric ones that were living in the ocean around Kansas. Is Tornado Alley moving towards Mobile? They say it's moving east to Kentucky. I've been hearing that lately. That there was a map. A guy did an infographic thing. It was just a video. I don't know about his research, but he showed where the most tornadoes are since recorded history, since we started recording them. And a lot of them used to start, just if you go across the United States, it was eastern Colorado. And then that was like a big concentration. And then, of course, Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska was big. And now they're seeing more and more as they get closer to Tennessee and Kentucky and even down into Arkansas and, of course, Alabama eventually. So who knows? Yeah, there's seashells in the Utah desert. And that's just science. Yeah, most science says it's getting worse because of stuff we put in the air, but it's still debatable. Lexington is a nice place. They're weird there, but my experience. But yeah, Lexington is nice, and it's affordable for a major city by Kentucky standards. Tornado moving to Dixie Alley. That's about the truth. Climate change is part of the Earth cycle. Yep. My uncle wants to move from. I don't know where that is. I don't even know where those places are. Let me look them up. Oh, New York. Is it New York or Indiana? There's one in each. Oh, you must be talking about Indiana because the other place is also in Indiana. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Valparaiso. Are you? Did you just pick out the two hardest things for me to say? Um, oh, Wrestler, New York. Okay. Indiana. Okay, there we go. Some people just call it Valpo. Okay, gotcha. Um, so I'll tell you what. So the Valpo one is got an 82 livability score. Their cost of living is 2% below the national average. Now the other one, Rensselaer, whatever it is, you got a 70 livability score, and their cost of living is 13% below the national average. Housing's 33% below the national average, and housing is 2% above the national average in Valpo. Other than that, all the other stats are relatively close. He's older, A plus for health and safety in Valpo, so that's nice. And it's a B in Rensselaer, whatever it is. Hey, we got a super chat. Briggs, have you seen or heard exodus from Seattle? There is a little bit of an exodus going from Seattle, but of a lot of the tech workers are it's becoming more remote work. So that's kind of lessened the impact of the tech workers, but it's still got people flooding in there all the time. So there's some change. Put it this way, it was growing like this straight up. Now it's growing like that. Okay. It's just slowed down a little bit. They've got a lot of people moving to the suburbs and moving out of the state with remote jobs, but not enough to be really measured in any big impact. But there is definitely a change. We'll see how that pans out at the 2030 census. But right now, it's too small to notice anything. I love Cincinnati. Julia Aiken, I just did it. Well, not just, probably about 4 months ago, I did a really cool video on how Cincinnati was forgotten. Now, it's really interesting about that video. The first month, I was like, oh, this video didn't do that well, and I really put a lot of work into it. But it's been getting the same views since then. Like every single month, it's solid performer. It's never had any big jump, like all my videos get a jump the first day or two, and then they just kind of level out. This one's been just slowly climbing the whole time. It's weird. But Cincinnati, go back and watch that video. It's pretty interesting. It's a good place to live. Is it the best? No. But it's not bad. Hey, Briggs, love the channel. Do you have any info on Murphy, North Carolina? I do. Let me take a look. Murphy. I want to get my Murphy, North Carolina. Murphy, North Carolina has a 66 livability score. Their cost of living is A plus, so it's 7% below the national average, and their groceries 4% below the national average. Housing is 17% below the national average. Next to no crime. Schools D minus, employment F, housing C, health and safety C minus. So the commute says an F, probably because you're far away from everything. So it doesn't look like a bad place to live. 66 livability is not the best, but we're not talking bottom of the barrel. Oh, by the way, Granite Man, thanks for the super chat. Really helps the channel. Yes, definitely watch the Cincinnati video. Let me see if I can get the link for it here. I want everyone to watch that one. I thought it was a great video. There's sometimes I make a video and I just think they're absolutely great. I mean, but I don't always think my videos are great. Some I put on, oh, this sucks. This is not gonna be that interesting. And then I'm surprised. Sometimes I love a video and it just does okay. But this one I really like doing. Does Houston have anything considered living or retirement? Have anything to consider? So I don't like Houston myself. It's just too hot, too humid. It's too spread out. It's not that affordable. There's other places that are better than Houston, in my opinion. That Texas is 30% south, 7%. I really don't know. I know a lot of people consider it south. I've always considered it the west, but who knows? Spring Tech, there's Friendswood too. I like Friendswood, but the city of Houston itself, I don't like it. Yeah, every time I go there, it's just I've been so sticky and yeah, I hate humidity. When I graduated from college, I sold my house and RV, travel around the US, North and South Dakota, but winter. Oh yeah, those are rough winters. Yeah, but so Houston, it's not as affordable as I think it should be. Their cost of living is 3% above the national average. So, it's a little above the national average. I just don't think I think it should be lower. Gnats and mosquitoes. Oh my God. I was in basic training in Georgia. The gnats were just everywhere. And you'd have to stand there attention and gnats just climbing all on your eyelashes and stuff. I hated it. And they get right here. I don't know what their obsession is being, half an inch away from your eyeballs. You're like, what the? Welcome, casual subscriber. D and Daniel. Okay, Daniel Bay. I hope I got that right. Thank you for becoming a subscriber. I really appreciate it. You're like a sustaining member, helps us keep going. Flying roaches, that'll freak out enough people. Why is the most conservative city what's the most conservative city in the United States? That's a good one. I did a video about that. I don't remember my stats. Oh no, I'm yawning. I'm looking up my old script I did. Most conservative cities in the United States. Okay, so according to Pew Research, that's where I got the data from. Mesa, Arizona is, and this is from. No, oh no, okay. Here's I was looking at. I'm all 2014. What the hell? Here it is. Most Republican registered state. Okay, so here's the most Republican cities: Mesa, Arizona. Virginia Beach, Oklahoma City, Colorado Springs, I knew that one, Jacksonville, Florida, Omaha, Nebraska, Anchorage, Alaska, and Fort Worth, Texas. Those are the biggest conservative ones. And of course, Fresno's up there too, are Republican ones. Now let's just look at it on most conservative. So the most conservative is going to be Oklahoma City. After that comes Virginia Beach. Of course, you got Jacksonville, followed by Arlington, Texas, Colorado Springs, Anchorage, and Fresno. Fresno, middle of California. Boom, another one. Oh, got a member and a thing. Oh, here we go. I travel 3317. I want to move somewhere between Bellingham and British Columbia. Where could that be? So obviously you want to be right up there. I don't know if you want to stay on the Canada side or the US side. My personal opinion. I'd move to Point Roberts. I love Point Roberts. You don't know where Point Roberts is. It's below the whatever parallel that is. 45th parallel. What was that parallel that separate? Anyway, let's say it's 45th parallel. So it goes all the way across and has a nice straight border. Well, Point Roberts just drops down. So it's on a peninsula and it drops below that parallel and it's part of the United States. But if you want to drive there, you got to go into Canada and then come back down into the US at Point Roberts. I've always thought that was neat. So if you want to move from Bellingham, Ferndale is a pretty good option. Let me make this sure the stats are. I know Ferndale, Washington. Here's their stats. Yeah, 81. 81 is their livability score. Their cost of living is kind of rough. 27% above the national average. Their crime is 19% below the national average. Their housing is, whoops, lost my thing there. 60% above the national average. That's not great, but crime is low, employment is good, housing is good, health and safety is excellent, schools are good, commute is good. The only thing is it's a little outside the big city, so their amenities, they got a D. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Love Point Roberts. Thoughts on Provo? I like Provo. I don't like the smell of the Salt Lake, but Provo's nice. I've been there a few times. 49th parallel. Thank you very much. So they've got plenty of homes in Point Roberts for 500,000. It seems like 500,000 is about the average. Let me see what the average home value is. They got plenty of homes for over $1 million, but Point Roberts, Washington. 399,000 is their median home value. But if you poke around Zillow, anything on the coast is going to be right around $1 million or more. So there's a couple here for 1.8, and you're right on the beach. There's one for 2.8 right on the beach. But a majority of them, less than a couple hundred yards inland, they start getting around 500, 700, 439 is one. That's probably half a mile from the beach. Yeah, it's definitely doable, and you're right there next to Canada. Yeah, Fresno isn't. Both those places are just a mess. You guys, is definitely not a fan of the Sun Belt. I don't mind the Sun Belt. You see, my thing is I like green and I like cold. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of being in the South in the summer, and I don't like the desert. Desert is not my thing. I'm not a desert person. I am a Pacific Northwest person, even though I grew up in Southern California. Texarkana, Texas, Arkansas. Raymond, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate the super chat. Was there a question, or are you just telling me you're in Texarkana? Hold on one second. Getting a text. A political thing. Thinking of moving there. Ah, okay. Let me give you the stats for that. Texarkana. Texarkana, Texas. So Texarkana, Texas has a livability score of 77. Let's see if there's a difference. Texarkana, Arkansas, it's 64. So definitely you want to be on the Texas side, according to statistics. Texarkana, Texas has a cost of living that is 7% below the national average. Their crime is 36% above the national average, but their housing is A+, and so is their health and safety. Schools D, employment D. Texarkana. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Arkansas. No, that was Texas. Sorry. So crime in Texarkana is 108% above the national average. Their cost of living is 11% below. Housing is an A+. Health and safety is an A-. Schools are a D, but employment and crime are both F. So yeah, stay on the Texas side if you're going to move there, and it's not a bad option. It gets a little humid out that way, but still. Let me see what their real estate's like out there. So if you're on the, you know what? They've got a lot of homes here. For majority of their homes are, I'm going to go back and look at Point Roberts because I just realized I had my chart only showing things over 400,000. They've got decent homes in the Arkansas side for around 280 to, they're older homes. They look decent. 285,000, 200,000. I'm sorry, 185,000, 200,000. If you get up in the 400 area, you're gonna be living like a king. Now the Texas side, it's a little more expensive. 269 seems to be the starting. Here's one for 135. Oh wow. Okay, wait, is that still on the Texas side? It is. Okay, so wow. Okay, so you've got some great options on the Texas side. $155,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, not bad. Looks like it was probably made in the 1970s. Looks like it's well maintained. The inside looks nice. Yeah, not a bad place to live if you want to save some money. Let's go back up to Point Roberts because I want to see something. But Texarkana, I would stay on the Texas side. Looks like it's more affordable and it's nicer. Okay, Point Roberts. Okay, Point Roberts got some shacks that are 150,000. There's some that 399,000. That one looks like it needs a little work. 475. Yeah, so okay. Not much of a difference by changing that chart. But if you live on the ocean, yeah, everything's either at $1 million or up to like $2 million. There's one for $3 million. I don't think it's worth it. 2.7, I should say. All right. Did I miss any super chats? Let me know. Got most of them. Boom, 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 boom. I think I did. Yep. Okay. The new city in Louisiana, St. George, breakaway from saying it's decent. Let me take a look. It's called St. George, Louisiana. Yeah, they're not showing any stats on it if it's a new city. Oh, here we go. We got another super chat. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Kia Marsh. I appreciate that. Hope I got that right. Hi, Briggs. I'm natively from Miami. I don't like the heat, so maybe looking to move to Minnesota. What are your recommendations for a single black female? Okay, so Minnesota is a really good state, especially when it comes to, put it this way. Best states for mixed race families, Minnesota was #1 a couple of years ago. So that aside, There's a lot of good places to live in Minnesota. It's not always going to be Minneapolis. I would look at Rochester, Minnesota. That's a good one. So Rochester, Minnesota is one of the greatest places to live. It is kind of it's a good distance south of Minnesota. It's not too far from the Iowa border, but that one has a 92, and there's only got about 121,000 people. So that's great. You also got Falcon Heights, Minnesota, where's my Falcon Heights? Jeez, where's my thing? I can't see it. There it is. Falcon Heights is up there in Minneapolis. It's a neighborhood. It's a little pricey, but they have a livability score of 93. What is 3? 3 looks pretty good. Champlin, Minnesota, decent. 90 livability score. Let's see what's going on there. Only 28,000 people. Crime A, employment A. Their crime is 41% above the national average. Employment, their employment rate is 40% below the national average. So that's good. Housing A plus, health and safety A, schools A minus. That's not a bad place to live. Oh, and Champlin is on the south side. I hope I'm pronounced that right, but they are on the south side of Minneapolis, St. Paul. So yeah, Minnesota is a great place to live. There's a lot of bad press going on right now, and I think we mentioned it yesterday about this fraud thing, which there is fraud. Originally, they said it was $9 billion and the biggest fraud in the United States history. No, they also said, well, I saw one guy, one of those pundits, say it was 18 billion. Come to find out now that they're researching it, it's only 100 million or around that area, which is bad. I'm not saying that's it, but it's definitely not $9 billion. There we go. Thank you for supporting the channel, but I hope that answered your question. Definitely move to Minnesota. Duluth, Minnesota is probably a great place for view of Lake Superior. Yes, it is. It's frozen a good portion of the year. Duluth, Minnesota. Yeah, you're way up there, right by Superior. Duluth, though, has a livability score of 82. Cost of living is A plus, housing A plus, health and safety A plus. It's one thing I've learned. Minnesota has some of the best healthcare in the country. So always keep that in mind. If you've got a chronic disease, take a look at Minnesota. But yeah, Duluth is not a bad place. It's just really, really cold half the year. But I appreciate the support with the super chat. Super. I gotta get one of those buttons they have. Super chat. My friend Tony has one for La Lita Loca. It's got this button. You hear this voice going, super chat. Minnesota does. I wouldn't mind Minnesota myself. Again, that's that green, wet. It's just I like a good winter, but I like my Pacific Northwest winters where I might get snowed in for 3 days, not 2 months, you know? I think we already did that one, the livability scores of all those things. So let's take a look. Austin, Texas, livability score 82. San Antonio, livability score of 80. Dallas, livability score of 81. Houston, livability score of 74. So yeah, the bottom of the barrel is Houston, but San Antonio and Austin are no slouches. Either is Dallas. Do you like Austin area? I love Austin area. A lot of good music, a lot of good food. Great place to live. I mean, it's not as great as it was a couple of years back when it was a lot cheaper, but hey Briggs, I want somewhere to raise my 5 children that have high safety, lots of things to do, uh, and relatively low cost of living. I would look at Wisconsin. Again, Minnesota, Wisconsin. If you don't like the cold and you don't like that type of weather, there's Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is a little expensive though. Um, I would definitely look at Wisconsin because you're not going to, unless you go to downtown Milwaukee, you're not going to find much crime in that city. If you don't mind the cold, it's a little expensive, but I know New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine are some of the greatest places to raise children, along with Wisconsin. Uh, so look into those, but my choice would be Wisconsin right off the bat. A smaller San Marcos with a AJB bakery, fried chicken. San Marcos, was a major chain. I bet it was. All right. I'm going to wind this down, guys, because I got to eat something. I haven't eaten. We'll do this again soon. I think this is going to be more of a regular thing. So prepare your questions so I could really research them. And if you do have a question you want me to answer on the next one, when I'm done with the live stream, put it in the comments section of the video. So about 10 minutes after the live stream's over, it'll be there. So you could leave a comment, leave me the criteria you have, and the next live stream we do, I'll get into those, okay? So yeah, wait for it and then put it on, put your thing in there. Don't forget to give a big thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me a comment, whatever. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you in the next live stream. I have a video coming out tomorrow morning though, too. So keep that in mind. All right, everyone. Have a great night. See you next time.